on in tonight's debate in Nevada, Democrats attacked former mayor of New York, Michael Bloomberg. And so let's start off with Bernie Sanders. He was the one who threw the first few swings, and then Warren joined in later. Let's take a look.
Senator Sanders, the first question to you. Mayor Bloomberg is pitching himself as a centrist who says he's best positioned to win in November. Why is your revolution a better bet?
In order to beat Donald Trump, we're going to need the largest voter turnout in the history of the United States. Mr. Bloomberg had policies in New York City of stop and frisk, which went after African American and Latino people in an outrageous way. That is not a way you're going to grow voter turnout. What our movement is about is bringing working class people together, black and white and Latino, Native American, Asian American, around an agenda that works for all of us and not just the billionaire class. And that agenda says that maybe, just maybe, we should join the rest of the industrialized world, guarantee health care to all people as a human right, raise that minimum wage to a living wage of $15 an hour, and have the guts to take on the fossil fuel industry, because their short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet and the need to combat climate change. Those are some of the reasons we have the strongest campaign to defeat Donald Trump.
So it's actually incredible to go back and watch that clip now, because as it was happening in real time, all of us had like such a strong reaction, like, whoa, whoa. We're not used to Bernie attacking aggressively and directly, at least not this early on in the debate. But it actually gets better and more aggressive once Warren gets involved. Before we get to the Warren clip though, let's just watch Bloomberg's reaction to Bernie Sanders. We'll comment and then we'll get to Warren.
I don't think there's any chance of the senator beating President Trump. You don't start out by saying, I've got 160 million people. I'm going to take away the insurance plan that they love. That's just not a ways that you go and start building the coalition that the Sanders camp thinks that they can do. I don't think there's any chance whatsoever. And if he goes and is the candidate, we will have Donald Trump for another 4 years, and we can't stand that.
So that's an incredibly weak response. He didn't address anything that Bernie Sanders said. And yeah, I mean, he left himself open for Warren to come in. Go ahead.
Yeah, so sometimes the idea is don't play defense, just go on the offense. And I hear that, but in this case, Bloomberg was met with heavy charges. When he did not explain any of them, it looked like he was conceding that they were all correct.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they are. And so when he just went to, oh yeah, Bernie's gonna take away insurance from 160 million people, insurance that they love. Really love? And second of all, it's the oldest lie in this particular presidential race. He's not taking away anybody's insurance. He explained later in the debate, no, you get insurance with expanded coverage. You get better insurance. I thought he did a good job of explaining it later, probably better than he's ever done in explaining it. But most importantly, Bloomberg there looked smug, like, I have more money, I will win this race. And his answer was awfully unprepared.
Unprepared, and all he did was recycle the same tired, arguments against Bernie. And his heart wasn't even in it while he was doing it. Like, it was interesting to see that.
It's impossible to prepare, as you said. He looked like he was accepting those truths because they were truths. But it's hard to prepare to defend and deny something that's so well documented. Again, when this whole thing came up with Bloomberg and stop and frisk and the opposition to it and what New Yorkers thought of it, none of that is new. So when you hear people say, oh man, Bloomberg with that stop and frisk, I was like, catch up with us. This has been years in the making and complaints about it. So it's like if Rush Limbaugh decided to run for president, like he's gonna have to stop and go, okay, wait a second. If I get on the debate stage, everyone's gonna talk about the litany of horrible things I've said and done in my life. This isn't worth it. Yeah. And somehow Mike Bloomberg didn't think that would come up. So his only approach was, your plan sucks. And if you think we're gonna beat Donald Trump like that, you're crazy. Like that was the preparedness. Yeah. Honestly, you mentioned earlier, Jake, about maybe his debate preps didn't challenge him? I don't think they did anything. I think they were watching football games and drinking some beers and said, oh yeah, the debate's coming up. Oh, the football's over. Watching the NBA All-Star game and like, hey, debate's coming up. I guess we'll just stroll in and see what we got going on there.
Yeah.
This is a situation where you just don't do it. You go, everyone, you know your skeletons. Everyone else knows you definitely know your skeletons. You should probably not allow us to go ahead and start picking you apart.
It's like he's running a race, like a literal like running race, right? And he's running against people who have been training uphill for a long time, like Bernie Sanders, for instance. And Bloomberg's been training downhill. Like he's
his
been
whole life.
His whole life, right? Because he never had to try.
Yeah.
Everything's been handed to him. People gave him the trophy before he even, went into the race. So now he's just like, he doesn't think he needs to prepare.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I think, first of all, if you were part of Bloomberg's debate prep team, feel free to leak stuff to us. I know that you don't support him. How could you, especially after what you just saw? But also, I think that there's a good chance that he's, like we've been saying, he's entitled and arrogant. He's skated by for a really long time. It's also possible that he doesn't think that this matters in the same way that he didn't think it mattered to be involved in the first 4 contests or to run, for more than a couple of months. All that stuff the other candidates have done. It's possible that, like a businessman, he's run his numbers and he's like, okay, if I don't do Nevada, that's gonna cost me 50 million in ads I'm gonna have to do here to make up for it. And if I do bad in this debate, I'm just gonna run 200 million more in a whole bunch of other states. It might just be sort of a cost of doing business. And he's gonna spend between now and Super Tuesday, $300 million across the country. And so why even bother to do well in the debates?
That's interesting. Yeah. Well, if that was the strategy, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
So we saved the last element of this for last, and that's Elizabeth Warren. She came in with the 1-2 punch. That's what they call it, right? The 1-2 punch.
Kind of. There's a lot of things you gotta. I'd use different numbers. She came in with a 2x4.
The people's elbow.
She did come in with a 2x4.
Like you see her doing this in the last clip. That's because she's like, hold on, give me the 2x4. Shoot their line.
So let's watch it because I want to see it again.
I'd like to talk about who we're running against. A billionaire who calls women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians. And no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg. Democrats are not going to win if we have a nominee who has a history of hiding his tax returns, of harassing women, and of supporting racist policies like redlining and stop and frisk. Look, I'll support whoever the Democratic nominee is, but understand this. Democrats take a huge risk if we just substitute one arrogant billionaire for another. This country has worked for the rich for a long time and left everyone else in the dirt. It is time to have a president who will be on the side of working families and be willing to get out there and fight for them. That is why I am in this race, and that is how I will beat Donald Trump.
Look, Bloomberg's blinks per minute were insane, right? He was so clearly uncomfortable. He's like, what is this thing that's happening to me right now?
Yeah. It's like, does not compute. Why have I not fired everyone on the stage yet? Right.
What is this fluid leaking from my eye?
No,
I don't like this.
Yeah. No, more like from his ears. Like, why am I bleeding from my ear all of a sudden? What just happened? By the way,
brutal.
Warren did not let up at all the rest of the night. So she went at him another 2-3 times, hit him again and again and again. Until we thought like there's some chance Bloomberg's just gonna walk up and be like, well, this isn't working out.
Also, like that was amazing. I think that was some of the greatest stuff I've ever seen in a debate in my life. But what we saw from Elizabeth Warren right now was prepared, it was passionate, it was specific and strategic. And it just seems so ridiculous that over the course of like 16 debates, not one Republican could do to Trump what Warren just did to Bloomberg, even though the case might even be more obvious in Donald Trump. They didn't have it in them. They couldn't put on that performance. And if they had, they might have been president. We certainly would have avoided a whole lot of suffering.
This is one of those instances where the candidates got a chance to show, they always say, oh, who can debate Trump? He's gonna eat you alive at the one-on-one debates. There's a chance, this is like the debate prep for Trump, whoever gets the nomination. This is the way you have to treat Trump because Bloomberg is the same type of person. So you can hit him with these same things because they're the same type. So if anybody wants to show, hey, I can dismantle Trump, she just showed us that there because she just did it to this guy. As they walk through this whole thing, they can pick him apart and he'll sit there and take it. I'm still not sure I need this answered.
Yeah.
What's the plan? It can't actually go past this.
Yeah, no, look, Jayar is making devastating points tonight. So if the Bloomberg's whole point was, I'm more electable, I'm the only one who could beat Trump, really? Then why'd you just get your ass handed to you by Elizabeth Warren? So it didn't look like you would win a debate tonight because you came in 6 out of 6. And there were 4 other people on that stage, the 3 other people on that stage that did not do well. And you still came in 6, right? And it sounds like Elizabeth Warren can take on Donald Trump because she just mauled you. And imagine if she did the same thing to Trump, which she would. So to me, Sanders and Warren came out looking fantastic. Warren even better tonight, okay, the best she's ever done, best maybe anybody's ever done. Look, we're getting like
I'm talking about as a set of moments.
No,
I think it was very
I'm
powerful.
serious. Like those are as good a moments in a debate as I have ever seen. And I'm so tired of Democrats not fighting. And then she, at the end, she summarized by saying, "I'm a fighter." Yeah. That's right. And in the middle, she talked about corruption. You know, my favorite topic because it's the one that affects all others. I mean, she was fantastic tonight. And if you're looking for someone who could beat Trump, it definitely won Bloomberg. And tonight, Warren made a terrific case that it was her.
So there's the way we talked about how Klobuchar was surprised at what Warren did. Klobuchar's, and I'll continue to go on this point. It's the hokiness, it's the preparedness, it's the trying to sound like something rather than be it. Whether or not Elizabeth Warren, which I'm sure she did, researched those points, had it ready to go, and was ready to deliver those lines, it didn't feel like she was reciting.
Yeah.
She was speaking.
Right, yep.
She was talking to this guy. And as she went through it, she finished her first point. And then she hit the next one. And then she hit the next one. To the point you're like, oh my God. Like it felt like she was just speaking from this place of like, this guy is destroying my country and I'm not gonna let him do it anymore. So it's the authenticity is what makes people get behind someone rather than going, oh, that sounded good. It sounded like you practiced it, but it was good. No, that was it. That was the way you say it.
Because there was a banker in the room.
Yep,
So she's
totally.
like, there's a banker, I know how to do this. You're right.
She was well prepared, direct, aggressive, and more importantly, strong. And I realized, in the middle of the debate, while she was kicking butt, that's when I feel inspired by a woman on the debate stage or a woman in a political position or a position of power. It's not when they do these, dishonest, bad faith attacks on their political opponents and claim that there was racism or sexism, I should say in this case. Because I feel like that it just like exploits something for political gain, and I just want women to show the country how strong women can be in this type of environment, how much we can fight and how much we can get our point across with substance, not like these dirty political tricks. So again, I really wish that she stayed on this type of path the whole way through, but her performance tonight was so good that I think that it might actually keep her in the race.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, Jayar. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.